me, Saudara Wan Ahmad Fayhsal. We will be discussing on the topic death think differently. So my first topic my first question to you is that how do you think about the ideal nature of student activism?
In general, not just in UK.
In general. Ideally, what is student activism?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Salatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening here in London. It's a good question by Saudari Balqis. The nature of student activism. I've been writing a lot about this topic since I was still a student in UTP, 7 or 8 years ago, or more than a decade ago, I think. And this topic is pertinent, is very important to be understood by all, irrespective whether you are in UK or in Malaysia. Because we have seen many of our brothers and sisters, or so-called mahasiswa. In Malaysia, we have very powerful term to describe a student, university student, mahasiswa, to show the augustness of the stature of the student in university. So, for me, if you were to talk about student activism at the tertiary level, one must always relate to university as the foundation or as the intellectual home to legitimize our action as student activists. Yeah, in the past, we had, if you were to go through our modern history, there have been many episodes. For example, in the late 60s in France, revolt among the students, protests against Vietnam War in US, even Bernie Sanders, Noam Chomsky, these are professors, political activists, they were part of this student movement as well. And student activism then and now in many of the developed countries, or even in our country, way back during the heyday of Saudari Ibrahim, even Dato' Ibrahim Ali, Perkasa president, they were, I would say, back then, whatever they have done, it was like an example that they set a standard, what it means to be a student activist. I just give you an example, Dato' Ibrahim Ali. Dato' Ibrahim Ali, dia boleh menampak berjalan kaki daripada UiTM Shah Alam sampai Parlimen to demand a university status for ITM back then. So he was not a guy who is a redneck or bravado. He had a cause. Same like Anwar Ibrahim. Yeah, he fought for the rubber tappers in Bali, farmers, poor Malay farmers who are being sidelined economically, and they established Yayasan Anda. Many of the politicians nowadays in UMNO, both sides of the divide, opposition of government, they were from this kind of movement. They were active in campus back then. And if I were to see the records, for example, published by PKPIM, Persatuan Kebangsaan Pelajar Islam Malaysia, or even a socialist group in mostly non-Malays, they were very active and intellectually stimulating. Meaning, when they fight for something, they don't fight. For example, I heard some from my friends, some of them questioning the government. I see that the scholarship is a privilege. That everyone who scored good result in SPM deserve to obtain such scholarship. Whereas before, in the past, we are aware that students, instead of demanding that privilege, they were the one offering something to the government, helping government how to resolve the societal, economic and political problems. I think that's why it's not a surprise to see, even today, the good leaders who were originally student leaders in their universities. Those who became politicians nowadays, even to Mahathir, everywhere. Those they were somehow related to the student activism in universities. And when we say about student activism, what distinguishes student activism with other kind of activism, especially political activism, I think is knowledge. Because being a student, if you don't have knowledge or you don't have that understanding of your place in university, I think that's not, you are not deserved to be called student activist. Because by right, though you are not matured enough in terms of biological age, student activism or student activists should reflect certain qualities that I would say public lack, or those who are not in universities lack, namely intellectual acumen, the ability to articulate complex issues, not only for ourselves to be discussed among the intelligentsia in universities, but also to make it more palatable and easy, digestible for the public. This is where, on personal note, my philosophy as a student activist before, and still is now, I would always refer to the great martyr Iranian thinker called, a school teacher actually, called Dr. Ali Shariati. Yeah, he gave birth to this philosophy called Roshan Fikir, in Persian meaning enlightened thinker. Yeah? Philosophers like Jean-Paul Sartre of France admire him greatly. Even Michel Foucault, mostly the French leftist thinkers, they admire Ali Shariati because to them, he was like, when the Iranian Revolution was being conceived in Iran in the late 80s, nobody would ever thought that that revolution is Islamically inclined in nature. Khomeini was the one who took advantage out of the revival of the people's consciousness to fight the tyrant or the tyranny. But it was Ali Shariati who laid down the foundation for university students then to rise up and fight the Shah, especially on the economic inequality. So, and these were actually conceived or practiced by the students in universities before it spread out to the public. And that's why I think, this is my personal view, and I think I get to ask Tun Mahathir about it. I think he understood, Tun Mahathir, that the nature of, or the power of student activism. So in order to contain such movement, he brought Anwar Ibrahim into his fold. Give him the jawatan, the position, responsibility. So instead of Anwar then just merely going to the street and protest against the government, why don't you be part of the solution? Becoming politician. So it was, I think, one of the smart moves, I would say, done by the government to embrace student activists and treat them like an adult, rather than troublemakers. And you can see most of the student leaders then, they were holding like senatorship. They were leading many NGOs like ABIN, even most of the present, previously vice chancellors like Dr. Zaidi Ujang, IR. He was also part of this PKPIM. He wrote many books when he was still a student, and you can see that normally, if you could see the brilliance of these personalities when they are already holding such position, you can see the genesis of their ideas or their intellectual framework were actually being polished when they were still students. Because back then, they have time to read many things. They have time to dialogue, debate with their professors, with their friends. They have time to form many societies. dedicated to certain interests. Yeah. So I think these are, I would say, the special features that separate student activism with other kind of activism. Yeah, that's my general answer.
So your gist of your answer is that we need knowledge, as in intellectual knowledge, for us to become, not just a mere student activist, but rather an activist who is filled with the spirit of to seek for knowledge, while at the same time you be someone at the forefront of making changes. Okay. But I have another question pertaining to what you've said. On we have to know what is our place in the university.
Yeah.
So what is the university itself? Apakah makna university itu?
Yeah. That's a good question.
I think that's a good question to start with.
I think this is a very important question, and I think it is yet to be answered by many. Even in UK, though they have the Oxbridge, as the epitome of what it means to be a university. Many thinkers already raised this question on the nature of modern universities, especially in the age where neoliberalism in economy has taken root in our education system. Yeah. Stephen Colini wrote a book about this. Yeah, about university, questioning what happened to our university nowadays. Why everything has to be measured in terms of science and technology alone, by disregarding liberal arts, for example, as programs or degrees that are not worthy for job markets. These are being questioned left and right. So university can best be answered if we were to visit Oxford. That's what I personally discovered a few days back when I was in Oxford and at Cambridge. I saw myself with my eyes and also my sight. I smelled everything there, with all my senses. The ambience of university that has its lineage in medieval period, which mirrors what we Muslims at least has in Al-Azhar in Egypt, in Cairo. University, first and foremost, we must dispel this dogma. University is not a building. Oxford, Cambridge, King's, all the great University of London, small colleges, they are not being measured or defined via their buildings or campuses. Universities, first and foremost, is an institution that granted degree, that bestow degree, meaning to say degree that qualifies you to be somebody at a higher level in terms of your intellectual achievement, or given you license. That what actually our bachelor means in meaning. When we study for our bachelor, regardless Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Engineering, you are actually receiving what we call that piece of scroll, as it means a license for you to teach or practice something. So university can be functioning without a building. As long as you have a professor or a master teacher and you have students, then you are good to go. So it's not about names also. Well, in Malaysia, if we have many university colleges, right? College university. According to many in Malaysia, these institutions are being regarded as second class to university. So many of these college university, they want to be upgraded as university so that they can get bigger budget, or also more, I would say, compelling stature, so that the parents would send their kids to this university instead of college university. Well, we all know very well UCL is named as such, but no one disputes the fact that UCL is almost as good as Imperial or better than even in certain areas. Or in LSE, London School is school. King's College is a college. Name doesn't reflect the status or stature of university, but the professors do. What the human factor in university is actually the one that defines, I would say, the intellectual makeup of university. So when I went to Oxford, I visited Bodleian Library, and the oldest library, I would say, in UK. I could see outside of the library there are many rooms with doors and also signage, stating school of metaphysics, school of logics. These are schools that dedicated to train students to excel in what we call previously liberal arts. This liberal art is not liberal as we understand in Malaysia. Liberal as the sense that you go against religion. No. So that liberal means you liberate your carnal soul and try to achieve the lofty understanding of the universals. That's what liberal arts actually mean. When we go to school, since we were in kindergarten till we finish our high schools in Asia, what we were trying to achieve actually was to be able to think abstractly so that we can do or practice higher level or higher form of disciplines. We learn mathematics, we learn languages, grammar. All this actually culminated to be understood once we achieve our bachelor. That Bachelor of Arts, BA, is actually a reflection or a testimony of our ability to master the 7 liberal arts, which actually are not been taught like before in the classical syllabus of quadrivium or trivium, but in our, for example, KPSM or KPSR, they are already embedded in it. But sadly though, our teachers are not being told or being taught about this. So when they were to teach this, for example, history, how should history be taught in the context of liberal arts? Liberal arts give primacy to, for example, the first 3, the trivium. We have grammar, we have logic, we have rhetoric. So, as a history teacher who should be, I would say, conscious about how history should be taught in the light of trivium, he should understand, or he or she should understand that in history there is a grammar, in history there is a logic, in history there is a rhetoric, because students, well, in Malaysia, at least my experience, we are being forced to memorize facts. So yeah, we are not actually learning history properly. So that's why history is boring to many people, because we are being taught wrongly, the way, the pedagogy, and also the epistemology of it. So teachers, we cannot fault. This must be reformed. Yeah. Teachers must understand, or the ministry should understand, policymakers should understand that if we want to humanize our education as part of to improve our nation, we must understand how liberal arts were taught in the past, during Aristotle day, during those in Oxford, even in the madrasah of a Muslim, before the colonialism came. The so-called university of the Malays or the Muslims were actually the madrasah. They grant degree or ijazah to students. That's why Dr. Afifi, our fellow at Worcester College in Oxford, what he says is correct. He said that Oxford is Islamic. He said in the structure, the spirit of the university is Islamic, because Oxford was originally a Christian higher learning institution, and Christianity and Islam, as being studied or proven by the late Professor George Makdisi, Arab Christian, he studied the correlation between these old universities like Oxford, Cambridge, or even Paris, and how they have almost similar kind of structure and spirit like what Al-Azhar or Qarawiyyin or Zaytuna in Tunisia and Morocco have currently. So there's some sort of umbilical connection between these two major traditions, Christianity and also Islam, because back then we all know Islam was the dominant force in the Middle Age. So the flow of ideas, the exchanges between them were almost regular. Yeah? So it's not strange for Professor Maghrisi to conclude as such. The problem is the Muslims, or the Malays here in Malaysia, they have forgotten this, or we are ignorant about it. Yeah? Unless we go to Oxford, we read Professor Maghrisi's work, like Alhamdulillah, that's what I did, Allah, what I've done. So it opened my eyes to see, to ascertain the facts that university is actually a place where it's not really building, it's about the education, the process that we institutionalize. Yeah? When you say institutionalize, it's not by making buildings, but having a proper structure of syllabus, of method, of manner of teaching. Yeah? For example, in Oxford, in the Modern Library, below the Modern Library, there was a divinity school. This is the highest, because not all knowledge are created equal. Some knowledge stands the highest, at the highest peak in the scheme of things in university. Back then, the highest knowledge is theology. Knowledge about God, of course. That fits the structure of university, because university is about teaching the universal things, not the specifics. So in Oxford, in the divinity school, the examination was actually a disputation. You debate with your friends or teachers. You will get your degree if your professor ascertained that, okay, you really understood the syllabus after many years. Yeah? So that is what I believe, the spirit should still be captured by Oxford. Not to say other universities are ignorant about this, no. I think most all universities, those who have long history, were able to understand this. But the new ones, they imitate, especially the Western university, without understanding the essence. So I think we must get back to the essence. We must study the history of the place. We must study the meaning of professorship. What is the meaning of chair? What is the meaning of bachelor? What is the meaning of lecture, for example? These have very interesting history behind the concepts and the practices. So yeah, without this, I don't think we could really empower our students, but more create a form of student activism that fit to be called one.
Maybe last question on the topic of student activism. So, what is the solution to all these problems of us not being able to attain to that level of student activism? What are the things that we have to do, as for now, to revive the spirit of student activism when we are studying abroad? What can we do? At least in a very limited level that we have.
Okay, let me be honest, because I'm a local graduate, but I've participated in many of UKEC programs. I've seen Ring 1 Firdaus time, even way back, 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10 years ago.
10 years ago. The local graduates, we were jealous of you guys, because of the attention given by the GLCs, by the government, by many major influential players in Malaysian politics, business, corporation. They treated you guys like, we call it in Malay, anak emas. If I were to say organize an event in Malaysia, would Accenture or McKinsey or BP, Shell, all these major corporations sponsor us? Or if I think they would rather sponsor you guys, because the stature, say in Imperial, for example, you organize such event like UKEC. That's understandable, because we all know those who study abroad, you are studying in a very prestige institution that have proven themselves throughout the years as top 50 or top 10 universities in the world. So you guys are in a very, I would say, special environment compared to us in Malaysia. you are exposed to the cosmopolitanism of intellectual life, especially in London. You almost
I'm gonna disagree with that. Okay. No, what I mean is, not every student would take the opportunity of doing so. That's the thing.
I'm describing the
essence,
market or the context. Yeah. For example, I met ZZ at the Oxford at the train station late at night. I was just arrived from London. He was about to go back to London to deliver his lecture tomorrow. So, see, every major scholars, they would always stop by, especially in the capital. London have been having few major universities. It's a logic choice for many of these people.
Exactly.
I don't think ZZ will go to far away places where the intellectual environment is not vibrant. Yeah? You have to speak with your fraternities, right? So London, Oxford, Cambridge, these are the places that reflect the intellectual ambience that I would say lacking in Malaysia. Yeah? Lacking here doesn't mean that in Malaysia we cannot have the same kind of environment. It's a matter of the people there. Yeah? If the professors do not have the same vision, do not have the same passion, like what professors from the Ivy League or from the Oxford or from the top universities in the world have, I don't think we could replicate the same intellectual environment that they are experiencing with you guys also in Malaysia. So, for students in UK, for example, to benefit from such environment, I think one of the best ways is to make use of your societies and build bridges with UK's own organizations. For example, I remember I asked a few of the old graduates from King's, from Imperial. They were also part of, for example, FOSIS. You know FOSIS, right? It's the umbrella body for Muslim activism, student activism in UK. So, you guys have the chance to interact with many nationalities. Not only among the same religion, but also from other creeds and colours. Yeah. So, but I know Malaysian students, especially among Malay students, we tend to congregate among ourselves. Buka kampung Melayu, in Manchester, for example. or some of our brothers and sisters who are more Islamically inclined, they tend to be in a safer environment with their own group called Jama'ah. You know, to protect themselves from the biasa, tak nak campur budak Cina, tak nak campur budak India, tak nak campur dengan Masaleh, tak nak, just want to be usra. Okay, it's good. In a sense, you have the intention to protect yourself from, again, sort of immorality of being in cosmopolitan area. But you are cheating yourself actually by doing that. You say you cannot join that, you can join that, but you must not create an artificial wall in such environment when that environment demands you to have dialogue. I mean, dialogue here is civilizational dialogue. Each of you are actually informal ambassadors of Malaysia. You are carrying our image, our country's image. You are carrying our civilizational image. So when you go abroad, you are not only you're not trying to get your own degree, but also you are trying to carry so-called invisible flag of Malaysia to build a network with many potential future leaders of respective countries. Yeah? I think that's what we must, I mean, you guys, I'm talking about the foreign students abroad, should be cognizant of. The government invested in you to study here for a medical student, 1 million. But you use that opportunity or money to play PlayStation 4, to go shopping. It's nothing wrong with that for your own indulgence, but you must put this thing in proper place. Sometimes you must realize those are just distractions. Not to say you must be a bookworm, but you must also be active in many of the activities, either among Malaysian students or better still with the locals, international communities. Yeah. Because we do not know I remember I read a speech by former Secretary of Defense during George W. Bush era, Colin Powell. He said that why the US invested a lot in making their Ivy League so-called elite institutions and try to attract the best mind in the world. Because to them, he said, and I've read somewhere in his speech, it is a foreign policy. Having good foreign students in US shore is a foreign policy. Why? Like Chevening or Rhodes Scholarship. These scholarships have been given Columbia, these have been given Colombo. These have been given awarded to many prospective or potential students coming from the brilliant ones among the third world countries or those developing countries, because they want to have that soft power kind of influence or relationship with those countries. So yes, if we are not aware of this, I think we do not understand the real politics of higher education that currently being practiced here and also in the US or in the developed nations.
Yeah, sharing from my personal experience, having studied here for like 8 months, Alhamdulillah, I had the
8 months baru.
I came here last September.
Okay.
I'm gonna go back this June. I had the opportunity of seeing Sheikh Rashid Ghanouchi in person.
Wow.
My personal academician that I really like to read, Professor Tariq Ramadan. I get the chance to see him more than 5 times. And all those conferences and seminars and public lectures open at almost in every London universities, King's, UCL and LSE, they have a very good lectures open after 6 p.m. so everyone can attend. So those are the things that we have to grab the opportunity.
You're right.
Somehow it's very saddening that I myself hardly able to meet Asians, but I had the chance to meet Azminik, you yourself, Shukri, we met in a book launching. So maybe these are the things that we can start with among the Malaysian students.
Yeah. Okay, let me speak in Malay. Apa masalah kita sebenarnya? Kenapa kita tak boleh nak menarik minat mahasiswa di UK ataupun di US? UK lah, yang paling banyak lah UK kan, untuk menyertai program-program macam ni.
I don't know either.
Kalau nak ikutkan sebenarnya, saya pun macam tu juga. Sebelum saya masuk universiti pun, saya ni main game macam budak lelaki lain, main bola, main sukan, paling tu je. Tapi bila kita disedarkan oleh orang lebih tua, lebih berpengalaman, lebih berilmu, kita sedar dan faham bahawasanya makna kehidupan sebagai seorang mahasiswa tidak terbatas kepada kelas, dewan kuliah, assignment, exam ataupun kegiatan-kegiatan riadah yang ringan. Ya? Kerana sifat ilmu itu menuntut sesuatu yang dipanggil dalam bahasa Arab juhud. Kata Imam Syafi'i dalam dia punya very famous, I would say, formula. Imam Syafi'i, one of the great jurists, the founder of Syafi'i school in some jurisprudence, where most Malays, every Malays are part of that, Sunni jurisprudence. He outlined a very famous formula. He said that lan tanala ilma illa bisittatin. In Arabic, the word lan means you can never, ever, forever, can never. Meaning it's a very strong negation. So when he said that lan tanala ilma, you can never attain knowledge, except there's an exclusion there. Illa bisittatin, except with these 6 formula or 6 points. First, he said, you must be intelligent. You must have some form of intelligence. Second, you must be hirsu. You must be, I like to do amorous. You must be very passionate about that knowledge. Third, you must have watulu zamani, a very long period of time for you to study. You need time for you to study. And fourth, you need bulghatu. Bulghatu meaning a very small bekal. would say, bekal working in English.
Monetary?
I don't know, yeah, monetary, food, you know. And one of the most important part is wasuhbatu ustazin. This is what lacking. Suhbah meaning? Yes, it's like the root word. Correct. You must be close to your professors,
Okay,
teachers.
professors in that sense.
I mean, you don't treat your professor like your friend,
Exactly, no.
but you must have that attachment.
Relationship.
That is adab in Malay we call it. Meaning you must trust your professors. I mean, not all professors can be regarded as such, but I would say if you could find one, a very good teacher called murabbi, teachers mean here in your own respective field, then you must be very close with him so that you can benefit from him, not just in classes but also in our encounters informally. Yeah? So these are when we want to understand this, I think it's very profound, I would say, formula given by Imam Shafi'i, and this formula, according to Professor George Magdisi, could also be found in the Christian tradition. I forgot the scholars who also cited the same formula as Imam Shafi'i in Latin. So it proves that this is a universal formula, being regarded by both great traditions in the world, Christianity and Islam. I'm sure we have that also in Confucianism. I'm sure we have it in all the great, even in the Mahabharata, in Indian tradition. I'm sure we have that. So, kenapa sudah kita tak boleh capai makam yang saudari kata? Makam kita.
Bukan semua lah.
Yalah, bukan semua lah. Of course, tapi generally tentu. Ada dua level bagi. Satu, masalah structural problem sekolah kita. Our school is actually not helping us to become a good university student, except for our ability to answer exams. Because in school we are being, we know very well, it's about exam oriented. It's about getting as much A's as we could. It's not about enjoying literature. I mean, I able to recall back then Datuk Sri Najib was the Minister of Education. So he proposed this literature in English. I learned Hamlet.
Oh wow, Hamlet by Shakespeare. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, I mean the teachers they were very passionate. The English teachers,
Yeah.
But the time that being allocated in class for such activities are very limited. We cannot enjoy the session except for exam purposes. So until I went to universities, I had the chance to look back again and reflect whatever being taught by my teachers outside the pressure of examinations. Then I rediscovered the meaning that I couldn't get that.
Inside the story of Hamlet, you mean? Not just Hamlet lah. Oh yeah.
Sorry, not Hamlet, Macbeth.
Oh, meaning Macbeth.
To be or not to be, you know? That statement could be silly to 15-year-old kid, but to people like us, it has serious metaphysical underpinnings. Shakespeare is not a simple scholar. He reflected upon many events, especially about the encounter between Islam and Christendom. That in Othello, in Tempest, these are plays that reflect the condition of human then, in the medieval period. So that's one structural problem. Secondly, in universities we don't have people, especially in Malaysia, our seniors who become our guides, that would hold our hands and initiate us into this what we call the culture of knowledge, budaya ilmu. Tidak ada pembimbing di universiti kita. Kerana abang-abang kita bila masuk minggu haluan siswa yang pertama, dia suruh buat apa? Tanda tangan, benda-benda yang remeh-temeh.
Never had any experience.
Bully atau di Malaysia lah macam-macam lah. So ini semua benda yang remeh-temeh yang tak patut. Dan ketika mana pelajar dari masuk universiti pertama, hari pertama, minggu pertama, setahu saya lah tidak pernah lagi mana-mana universiti di Malaysia majlis penganjurnya minggu haluan siswa dipanggil, menerangkan sejarah dan makna universiti kepada pelajar baru. Jadi mentaliti pelajar kita di Malaysia, di pengalaman saya di Malaysia, kebanyakannya masuk universiti ni dia ingat macam sekolah. Jadi dia punya minat kepada universiti itu terbatas kepada nak dapat sehelai ijazah, sekeping ijazah, sorry. Jadi selalunya mereka ni akan sedar macam UTP selepas mereka melalui dipanggil latihan industri. For 8 months, they join some corporations. Once they return from their internship, they realize the world is not as what they thought of before. During their first year, second year, third year, they can play around, very immature, still like budak sekolah. But after they join internship, balik baru sedar, oh dunia ni semuanya very serious. You have to be professional, you have to be, cannot balik apa, you cannot lie, cannot cheat, your boss will know about that. So normally people realize after that. So it's quite neat. You have wasted your time, your 3 years as undergraduates with silly things, But then, because I remember, if I were to recall back, in universities during our period as undergraduate, that's the period where you could really read many things without being interrupted or being, being burdened with tasks as an adult, to earn your means, to if you are married like me, to take care of your wife, if you have children. So the luxury of time and ability to read serious works are actually available to you when you are still undergraduates. Unless you do your postgraduate, then you have extra time for you to do that. But most of the people that I met, they will stop short at their first degree only, and they will work. When they're working, you're just caught in the wheel most of the time. If you're an engineer, you are only concerned about your own field. Whereas the ultimate goal of university is to teach you, as I said, about universal. That's what university is all about. Universal here means, at the end, it should culminate at the level of theology. You must have the ability to understand what the Oracle of Delphi said. Know thyself.
Know yourself.
Know yourself, Or in Islamic tradition, what Sayyidina Ali said, Man arafa nafs, faqad arafa Allah. He extended the Oracle of Delphi really. Whoever knows yourself, you can know your God. And that's the ultimate goal of being educated actually. So that you have certainty. You have that confidence. Yakin is not.
I think yakin is somehow synonym with certainty. No.
Okay lah. It's a loose translation, but it's deeper meaning actually. It's a very important epistemological category. At least for Muslims, al-yaqin is a very important category because some people or those who are educated, for example, Chris Cornell, the frontman of Soundgarden, who just passed away. I love his song. I listened to his Audio Slave songs when I was still in school, and he wrote many. Artists. Artists are very philosophical people. They have deep thoughts on many things about life, especially. You can see the sadness in many of his songs, and it's sad that he has to kill himself by hanging himself. We don't know what happened, but that's sad. Those who are educated should be able to achieve certainty. Don't be like Pascal. I mean, as a Muslim, you cannot be like Pascal. You must assume that have you heard about Pascal's wager? You should study about this. How Pascal kata, to him kalau ada Tuhan, okay. Kalau tak ada Tuhan pun, kita patut rasa okay. We have to live ethically, regardless whether we believe God exists or not. So he is in doubt actually. He's not clear about the ontological status of our life, of human existence. So every religion seeks to answer this question. Christianity, Judaism, every religion, because if we fail to answer this question, even though you hold PhD in quantum physics, you will be suffering throughout your life. And that's where philosophy is very important in higher education, because you cannot teach philosophy. You can teach basic philosophies at the school level, but to discover the meaning of many things is when your mind has reached certain maturity. Especially if you were to study about sociology, for example, where as you become older, your perception on things change. Normally, we have what do you call that? Senses. What do you call it? Five senses, right? The physical senses, yeah. But we also have intellectual senses within our soul. Right? So these senses will be augmented as you experience more things in our lives. For example, if I were to compare myself, now I'm 20, with myself when I was 20, I used to have a lot of fight. And in fact, I got to know Azmi when I was about that age, and we debated a lot with Imran, these are your alumni, Imperial alumni. So I tried to reflect back, there are things which I think I know much more better now, and I think there are things that I did many wrong things also in the past in evaluating certain problems or in arguing. So these qualities could only be polished and acquired once you mature, once you encounter yourself. You can read, of course, you can travel to the past to see how Napoleon lost the battle of Waterloo.
Yeah,
you cannot do that. You can really reflect the events. But the ability to understand.
Can you start again? Can you start again the live stream?
Why? The battle of Waterloo. You cannot travel to the past.
Yeah, I can. But according to the great historian of Oxford, philosopher also, nama dia R.G. Collingwood, history is about reenactment of events, of the past events, in our present. So, to reenact the events, you must have some intellectual capacity and framework, concepts to articulate. Or, for example, the concept of medieval. This is not a historical concept conceived by those who lived in that era. It was created by historians to characterize certain characteristics in those eras. But for example, the concept of Republic of Letters in France, that was actually literally exist in the Enlightenment era to describe the vibrant environment of writers, authors, poets, thinkers in publishing a lot of works that create an environment where debates about human rights, about human dignity, about fighting against the tyranny of the monarchy exists. Yeah? So that creates history at the end. So these kind of things could not happen unless you have could not be understood properly unless you have the ability to reenact it in present. For that, you must able to read or acquire certain background knowledge. You must be able to understand languages. You must understand religion. You must understand culture. You must understand concepts, either in sociology, in history, in science, for you to able to reflect better. Yeah, in events. Yeah, so that's basically what I think important.
Maybe on the last part, because we should stop at 7:50, but opening questions to anyone who would like to give us questions. On political maturity, what do you think about us fighting or campaigning for dropping low the voting age to 18 years old rather than 21 years old? What is your opinion? And then how is that related to substantive democracy versus participatory? What's the word? Participatory democracy, exactly. So
Yeah, I've yet to read the whole argument made by those who champion
MSGA.
Yeah.
Malaysian Students Global Alliance.
I've yet to read their argument. the full argument, but my personal view, I think I do not quite agree to their proposal. Why? Because I think for Malaysia situation,
Okay, Malaysia situation.
we are not there yet. I mean, our students, yes, could be many of them are like us, able to argue, think and make decisions about politics. But the large number of these 18 years old in Malaysia, we still need guidance from adults to help us think seriously about politics. Because politics require not just theoretical knowledge, about democracy. You cannot be enlightened in politics because
But do you not think that the idea of liberal democracy itself, liberal secular democracy itself, is pertinent for you before you can vote to discuss about the concept of democracy itself?
You mean to debate with
I mean, to understand how does democracy works, how important is that within the process of before you can vote?
do we have a proper education about this? No.
Formally no.
Yeah, I don't think. And
But we have universities and avenues that you can talk.
but again, in Malaysia, besides those who study political science, these people or the students in universities being exposed or being made requirement to study the subject on democracy to understand what is democracy all about, the history, the values, the ethics. I don't think so. We don't have that. Unless the government decides to have, they have political will to really strengthen democracy by giving or institutionalize certain courses that reflect, that would help the students to understand democracy better. Then
Neither do we have that sort of formal education in the UK.
they have that.
No.
No.
So, but then, I don't think the universities in the UK is more open to debate on political issues, which may not, that the same atmosphere does not happen maybe in the Malaysian universities.
Oh yes, I think
So that's why you say we can't pursue this.
yes. Unless we have leaders who are ready to be criticized openly, to be engaging critically in 360 degree, things will not change. And but it depends also on situation. Sometimes being too open by allowing liberty or giving liberty too much would actually slow down our ability to execute things. For example, why in Singapore or why in South Korea before things were very much autocratic, because they were
A very young country.
They want to stabilize the nation by focusing on development. Yeah? So there are things that cannot be made too liberal.
Yeah.
It's about freedom of speech. Okay, I'm not saying that I'm condoning authoritarianism, but sometimes to be authoritarian in a positive way could help us solve the
Bigger issues.
bureaucratic inertia of things. Yeah? But that doesn't mean we cannot express your views. I think in Malaysia we are not living under an authoritarian regime. We can freely write in Malaysia Kini, in Malaysia Inside, in Facebook. As long as you write without any defamatory influence, you have some substance to argue your case, that's fine. I think the government would not penalize you for that. So these are the things that I think there are rules. For example, in Malaysia, the debate in Malaysia, budak-budak Malaysia kata, aku sentiasa menghalang aktivisme mahasiswa. Okey, betul lah. Aku tak bagi parti politik untuk student join parti politik openly in university. I think it's good. Why? Because in your formative years in university, you need that so-called neutrality or apolitical stance for you to develop your own first. Once you finish, you graduate, now join PAS ke UMNO ke, Pakatan Harapan, whatever, you join that. But in your university years, allow yourself to explore the options, the dynamics of understanding different views from across the spectrum. Kalau you dah ambil stand di universiti to join parties, knowing in Malaysia, partisanship has always created, I would say, divergence among people. I think it's not healthy. You can have that, but it's not healthy. I've seen how Malaysian students, ini baru antara aspirasi dengan pro mahasiswa. Baru ni belum pakai UMNO ke PAS tapi dah ada so-called group all university kan. Dia punya real politik tu is not healthy, it's not good. Because at the end of the day, you want to see the quality of the candidates articulating issues. At the end of the day, what sort of issue they articulate? Mostly about welfare. It's not about ideas. It's not about it's not about the spirit of bringing back university to its original place. It's about, at the end, what's for me. It's about privilege. You know, it's about me. Okay. In the past, as I said, during the good old days of student activism in Malaysia, the students do not talk about themselves so much. They talk about the rakyat. They talk about the plight of the poor, the plight of those who are destitute. Yeah. So different, because back then, I don't know, they are so wretched compared to us. Maybe because back then there have never been social media, perhaps. There are not much distractions, so they are being left to. Yeah, because
we are too spoiled.
Yeah, we are being spoiled by liberty. You know.
Maybe economic privilege, as in my parents or your parents are already, we don't have to be in working class.
You're right, I believe so, yeah. I mean,
so we don't feel like being in the face of poor people.
You're right. Freedom that Anwar Ibrahim used to have then, Ibrahim Ali, that kind of freedom, maybe not quite restricted perhaps, but they make use of that space to really empower themselves first. When they join politics later, they have that intellectual muscle for them to debate, to exchange ideas more effectively. I think that's one of the, I would say, a good example in the past. Yeah? I always like to reflect those days as our, I would say, a model that we could really try to create again, recreate that again in our modern times.
Maybe we'll open to orang-orang kat sini. Ada soalan apa-apa? Tom? Shukri?
No, I perhaps I'll comment more on the Undi 18 campaign.
Okay, I know you are against that. You mean?
Well, it's not a matter of whether I am against or not.
Yeah.
Because
That's
everyone,
ad hominem.
no, it's not ad hominem, don't worry. It's not so much about who is against and who is not.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, if you want to change something, how do you approach it? Because people have this conception that if you want something to change, then you go protest on the street, make yourself heard, and someone will hear you eventually. It may work, but in Malaysia, that's not the way we do things. At least not now. Perhaps it used to be the case, but okay. Moving on. Lee Kuan Yew made quite, how do you say, I won't say it's a good case, but a strong argument. Basically, more or less something along the line of, to me, as meaning politicians, as politicians, office holders, we say where we want to go, and of course we listen to the people, but we say where we want to go.
Financing.
Yeah. The civil servants should act as the mechanic, the driver, and everyone else that make sure that the civil service machinery, the bureaucracy, meaning the car, is fit for purpose to take us to wherever we want to go. Yeah. So the driver should take order from us, the politician, and take us there wherever politicians say they want to go. Meaning on behalf of the people, of course. So eventually, the people whom you need to talk to are the political leaders, and sometimes in the Malaysian case the bureaucrats as well. So when you want to make yourself heard, when you want to lobby, when you want to make sure that how do you say, it is more or less lobbying effectively. But when you want the young people to actually go and talk to the people who matter, and they need to understand who are the people who are going to make the decision. Of course, eventually it's the Prime Minister lah. But well, we have 20 plus cabinet ministers, right? But how many people have really spoken to any of those ministers, or the deputy ministers, or any MP?
Have you brought this case to these people?
Of course, for now the campaign is still at a very early stage.
Yeah, we are just signing on the process of signing petition.
Still signing petition. But at the same time, how do you say? I don't have yet to see, for the time being, I have yet to see any not say serious effort, but effort that is aimed at influencing policy making. For the time being, it's still a very much young people kind of approach, sign petition, go on the street, not yet, but then perhaps one day they'll go on the street to protest, to make themselves heard, etc. Okay, moving on to the second thing. Of course, lowering the voting age to 18 eventually will become a reality, whether it's now or 50 years from now. It's just a matter of that. So one of our friends, human rights lawyer Shahridan Johan, made
wrote it in the Star, if I'm not mistaken.
It was published in the Star, yes, 2 days ago, arguing for lowering the voting age to 18. And of course, the argument is very straightforward, which is if the age of majority is 18, and the standard in other developed countries or developing countries even are 18, therefore it makes sense for us to follow international practices and perhaps its best practices, and therefore lower the voting age to 18. But Lee Kuan Yew made another argument, which is if by succumbing to populism and we more or less jeopardize the trajectory or the progress of our nation, is it really worth making such a change? In this particular case, we've seen the detrimental effect in the US as well as the UK. People argue that most people who voted for Brexit are old people.
Exactly, that's what the data say.
No, but is it? Is it in the sense that, or is it the case that too many young people actually not turn up to vote, therefore the older people are voted there? Depending on how you slice the data. But in the very beginning, the young people who actually registered to vote and did not turn up to vote, why was that the case? Sometimes voting is on a weekday, they cannot get off work. They get to polling station, and the poll station close early. So it's supposed to close at 10 PM, they close at 8. And then of course there's a question of voters being transferred out of their area, they turn up at the wrong polling station, etc, etc, etc. So these are the barriers that prevent not just young people, pretty much everyone from exercising their democratic rights to begin with. And this kind of problem exists and continue to exist because the people do not understand what are their responsibilities as voters, of course their rights as well, and what are they trying to achieve by voting to begin with. Is it just electing politicians, or are you trying to fulfill a greater destiny in the grander scheme of things? Of course, I would argue for the latter. Of course, Lee Kuan Yew is for the idea that if you know where you're going with this, meaning the voting process, then only I'll give it to you.
You're right.
That's more or less the Lee Kuan Yew argument. Likewise, I will also argue, unless the people at 18, massive amount, meaning maybe say 50,000 on the street, 50,000 on the street, and perhaps let's just assume at every campus in Malaysia, university campus, state UiTM campuses, all the major university campuses, maybe even College Mara Banting and KYUEM, if they have, if they have at least between now and this December, let's assume, if they have at least 2 big round tables with very huge turnout, they want to Chancellor is really full to discuss why they should lower the voting age to 18, and then if we can have poll by Merdeka Center or something like that that shows that people understand why they need to be able to vote at 18, then yeah, go ahead. I'm up for it. I'm not against lowering the voting age to 18.
Yeah.
I'm only against lowering it to 18 just for the sake of getting young people out to vote and they register, they don't go to vote.
You're right.
Because if they don't go to vote, there are many things that can happen. For example, phantom voting. By 5 p.m, if there's only 50% turn up, people with fake IC will come in and vote for you. That kind of thing happen. So we need to recognize that as well. Of course, yes, Shah made a good argument saying that because the constitution says it is 18, age of majority is 18, just standardize everything. Okay, fine. But if you look at the UK as well, minimum wage, it is not really straightforward. Minimum wage is phased in from age 16 to age 21. You are only entitled to full minimum wage at 21, even though age of majority is 18, age of consent is 16 or 15. And goes down and down for different stage. Likewise, you can get a motorcycle license at 16, but a car license only at 17. Why not standardize? Of course, there are reasons for that. And the constitution just delayed the voting age to 21 originally to allow people to mature more in that setting. Not to deny them to vote, but to just delay the voting age. The same way, our penal code, or actually as a practice actually, if you're convicted for a crime, you go to jail, automatically your voting rights is suspended. People in jail cannot vote. Not to say that they are, of course you can argue that their constitutional right is violated, yes, but not permanently, it's just suspended. Of course, I personally would argue people in jail should be able to vote because it is their constitutional right. That's my argument. But who's going to lobby for that? Not me. Yeah. So my advice would be for the young people to ramp up the campaign, but not so much on the collecting the signature for the petition, but educating the young people. That's one. Secondly, of course, through Bersih or not, introduce a set of syllabus that would educate young people for that. For example, the UK Parliament website has got 6 videos educating people on how the parliament works and how their vote can influence policy making. So either we translate that or put subtitle there. You can go watch on YouTube with subtitle. These things can be done. Yeah. Of course, you can also include in pre-departure briefing or with UKEC in every year during Project Amanat Negara or MSMS. You can mention that. The key is to make sure that people know their rights, and if they know their rights, even if the government prevent them from voting altogether, they will rise to pretty much claim their rights. But if they don't know their rights, even if you give it to them, it's not going to make democracy any better.
I can see that. But if I were to add some comments to extend the argument, I've observed with interest how Syed Saddiq, as a young, handsome, intelligent political player, just arrived in the scene, he able to penetrate into a segment that no other politician can, which is the tweens segment. Those who slightly above 18 or below 25. Especially among the ladies.
No, not me.
I always observe the comments, in Facebook or Instagram. Oh yes, the ladies, among the younger ladies, like your age, or younger than you, they were so interested with Syed Saddiq. I don't know why. I don't think they understand Syed Saddiq's struggle so much. But maybe they are captivated with Syed Saddiq's personality,
charisma.
But that's good enough for a start, just to make them interested in politics. Maybe they don't have that. We're not ready for more serious discussion, but that's good enough, I would say. Because I don't think people like Transit Muhyiddin or those ministers, I don't think they could appeal to the younger so-called voters that you're trying to get for them to able to vote at this stage, because they're not ready. They're not say they're not mature. Biologically they are mature, but intellectually they are because of the setting. This, as you said, could be you can. I know you're in the Justin Negro, man.
No, I'm not.
You're not there, but whatever he's trying to do, yeah. Empower them first. Empower them. Be our first priority. If you really want to, not just for the under 18, but also for generally for every youth. Not many people know their rights and responsibilities within the constitutions, within the context of the constitution of Malaysia. Yeah. So yeah, I agree.
Just one question. Tak ada question from Facebook. But
So may I just add, like, so when we talk about political literacy for the under between 18 to 21 students, right? And I just wonder, like earlier we talked about student activism and how like in the Malaysian environment that we have like less students become less interested in politics in Malaysia. How can we encourage students to engage in politics if they know that they don't even have their rights to vote, and if they don't even have even if they can't, if they want to involve in politics, maybe they can if we look at, because I study international relations and I learn about politics, and if we look at we study about how politics create self-interest to the citizens, they usually will go for their voters. So when they want to study, okay, so should we raise pensions, then we'll look at, okay, how many old people we have in the country, and if we want to provide interest for the young people, then we look at how many young people in the country. And in Malaysia, because the age between 18 to 21 cannot vote, so why would the government provide them with the rights to debate, for example, or even to engage in party politics in Malaysia? So I guess, like, does it connect it between the activism in university in Malaysia with the rights to vote? The reason that they don't engage is because they don't even have the rights to vote. So why does it matter to them anyways to engage in politics? For any comment?
My view is, okay, again, I think there's a misunderstanding among our youth that our responsibility to participate in politics cannot be reduced to the matter of voting rights. Because politics is bigger than that. Even though you cannot vote, you must be able to contribute in some way or another to the what you call it, the higher objectives of politics, or maqasid they call it in Arabic. One of them is actually to strengthen the national unity. Because at least in Malaysia, our country is so quite fragile in terms of race relation, and also among different religion. Even though you cannot vote at your age, at least you can promote goodwill or promote important discussion that could lead to I would say, a political dividend. Not just for political parties, but for citizens at large. Because politics is not just about power, I would say. Though power is central to politics, but politics is more than that. It's about how you shape the destiny of a nation. You cannot have all politicians running around governing the country alone. You must have scientists, you must have thinkers, you must have authors. In France, even before the revolution starts, it was the philosophers. The philosophers were the one who create that context for them to enlarge the participation of the citizen in politics. Even though that time there was no democracy yet, but at least it create a ripple that create changes. Either way, you can see in both ways, either bad or good in terms of the French Revolution. But just to take an example from that episode, how politics cannot be reduced specifically on the matter of voting alone. It's about creating a culture, it's about creating awareness, it's about creating consciousness of political places of each and every one of us. Macam Syed Azmi,
social activist.
Yeah. He's not a politician. But I dare to say he's better than many of the politicians out there. Or those who have NGOs, you know, in creating awareness, in creating that political, well,
He's an
influencer, yeah.
trendsetter.
He's a tech force lah.
Yeah, someone like the force that we have been looking for. Right. So, just like AUKU I said now, students in Malaysia always argue AUKU is the hindrance of a large obstacle for them to be relevant in politics. I mean, no. It's not.
But logically, from the perspective of the government, why would they serve the people who cannot like maintain their power? I mean, of course, we can argue politics not about power, but it seems very clear in many countries that a lot of the actions taken by government is to maintain their power. And so, from the perspective of the government, why would they want to provide the interest of the young people if the young people cannot vote? So I guess the Undi 18 movement should be encouraged because it does not only open the opportunity for the young people, but also to make the interest that the government, the responsibility of the government bigger and reduce the age. I mean,
my argument, not to say I agree with your spirit, the spirit of the argument, meaning to make government more responsive to those who young people. But I don't. But for me, that way is not really effective in the sense that because we do not want to create more political animals who view their legitimacy based solely on votes. You know, Aristotle, before he writes his treatise on politics, he first writes Nicomachean Ethics for his son. Actually, Nicomachus was his son. So ethics supersedes politics, because politics is actually ethics in practice in society. Ethics, like Nicomachean Ethics, is actually meant for ourselves, also society lah. But ethics in politics. So politicians or those politicians or rulers, monarchs, they should understand that their responsibilities as leaders are not, or their legitimacy as leaders cannot be reduced to the ballot box alone. Because this is where we Muslim, at least, our political philosophy is not secularism, in the sense that, you know, those who practice secularism, with the legitimacy is only based on law, constitution, and ballot box. Whereas for Muslim leaders, he is guided first and foremost by his moral conscience, akhlak dia. Kalau akhlak dia salah, walaupun dia dapat votes yang banyak, he knows as a Muslim, his hereafter will be in big trouble. He can maintain his power with all the government apparatus, even though he is morally wrong. But he will know later on in hereafter, he will face huge trouble. So we want to remind politicians about their moral responsibility first, through their, meaning without it's not a carrot or stick. Macam vote ni macam carrot and stick, or very mechanical. But we are human. We are not donkeys. You know, politicians are not donkeys. We are human too. And humans should have soul. They should have moral conscience. They should be guided by that first. They should know, even though our school children cannot vote, as a leader of the country, they should be responsible to the future generation. If he or she able to do that, the children, later when they grow up, they were able to remember the contribution made by these leaders as a statesman. That was separate statesmen from politicians. People will forever remember Churchill, for example, or Gandhi, or Nelson Mandela, not because they are being voted, or Roosevelt. These are leaders who made created such a huge legacies, transcending their political status as or actors that are voted by through democracy. So we must educate not just our people but also leaders that your legitimacy is not solely dependent on voters or voting or participatory democracy. It's about, at the end of the day, it's about how you as a leader try to serve the people and also God at the end of the day. That's most important, because people alone cannot determine the success of your political career. One more your hereafter. I remember I'm reading a lot of this Mirror for Prince by many ulama, Ghazali, many of our Muslim scholars, they write these works called Mirror for Prince to educate these rulers that your responsibility is not only to the people, because if you are responsible to God, you automatically will be good to your subjects. Because in the past, this secularism was not the order. So any bad actions against God or against people, the rulers understand they will have a retribution either here or hereafter. So that sense of responsibility was I would say more like vertical in order rather than horizontal like what we have today.
Okay, we have like less than 10 minutes and we have two questions. First, Saudari Muhammad Helmi, in your view, how should students contribute more in terms of intellectualism? And what is your hope out of students, and I think he's referring to Malaysian students in the UK. Second question, Encik Wah, boleh tolong komen mengenai projek Belt and Road China Obor, peranan Malaysia dalam ni, dan ini bagus atau tak untuk Malaysia? Take into consideration also China's claims to overseas, let's say the sovereignty of our country and the Obor project. And also, I think we have touched a bit on soalan Muhammad Helmi tu tentang contribution in terms of intellectualism. Cuma hope out of students in the UK. Maybe you can touch on that?
Before we go to there, perhaps I should add to what Henry said just now.
Shukri.
Yes. But I think, the reason why Lee Kuan Yew is raised now is because of Trump. Because Trump won on populism. He won on popular vote. Likewise, Brexit won on popular vote, 52% of the vote. But then what's happening is that we are seeing what John Stuart Mill is saying, tyranny of the majority. So just because the Brexit camp won, now they're telling the Remain camp to shut up totally. Like we've won, shut up, let us do our job to destroy the country or whatever doesn't matter. Yeah. So is it the case? Because it's still 48% of the country who voted to Remain. So now after it's proven that many of the claims of the Brexit camp are lies, so now are we supposed to just shut up knowing that we've been lied to? Okay, that's one. Secondly, going back to what Lee Kuan Yew said in his argument against populism, it's just a matter of every citizen playing a role to first of course form our aspiration and of course work towards achieving that aspiration, which also goes back to the argument for Undi 18 and the reason why I would support Undi 18 as a movement, although I do not support lowering the voting age now, is because the movement itself will create awareness among young people that they have a role to play and they can play that role earlier, 3 years earlier, from 21 to 18. So giving that kind of understanding to people that they have a role to play. What role is of course a different story altogether, but then yes, I agree with what Wan Fayhsal said just now, which is your role as a citizen is beyond just voting, because democracy only works if there is a civil society. If there is no civil society, democracy cannot work. Voting is just formality, like China. You just vote for Communist Party candidates. Whatever you vote is still the same guy.
Well, that happened in Singapore as well. It's still a form of democracy.
Yeah, but Singapore, you have to bear in mind that MPs are replaced quite on a regular basis, and they have primaries, meaning candidates can fight against each other in primary first. So
Okay, but you mean we have still democracy, but in different form of democracy.
yes, you have to ask yourself, what
Yeah.
are the tenets of democracy? Are the people's will being represented? Are the people's will reflected in decision making or policy making?
Yeah.
So if you're talking about UAE, for example, the people are not many. Of course, they don't have democracy like we do, multi-party,
Brunei
etc.
too,
They don't
Yeah,
say.
but as far as UAE rulers are concerned, they listen quite intently to the people.
Yeah,
They
right.
have town hall meeting. People can petition their leaders directly.
Yeah.
And that's why, of course, there's money involved.
Yeah.
So people don't rise against their leaders.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's a better system. No, I want democracy. I don't want absolute rulers. But we're talking about, like you said, there are many forms of democracy.
Yeah.
But does that actually pass the test of the basic tenets of democracy?
Yeah.
Meaning, what if one day a guy say something bad about the ruler? Will he be charged under let's say
Majesty.
or will they be charged under atas sultan and whatnot? So we have to ask this kind of question.
Yeah.
So if you want people to go out and vote, young people to go out and vote, but then they have nothing else to do but vote. They cannot speak against the government. They cannot speak against people in power, even if they are not in government. They cannot air their I'm not say air their views lah, but promote a view that is different from the government views. Meaning non-conformist views. If they cannot do that, then what's the point of voting? Then you go back to China, you can vote as early as 80, but
That's the matter.
yeah, but to be able to play a bigger role than that, like Syed Azmi, I mean, you go volunteer, or you can be like Syed Saddiq, talking all the time, or you can just be just a good citizen, working in the background, pay your taxes, but then make sure all your children are raised up well. Even if you don't hold any post in any political party or if NGO like Ikram and whatnot, doesn't matter. Everyone has a role to play. And a vibrant democracy, again, lives on the back of a civil society. So there is a dire need to repair the Malaysian society to become a functioning civil society. Which we neglect. You don't believe me? Look at how Malaysians drive. That's it.
Just want to add to Azmi's view, very important, because Anwar Ibrahim, during his days in the government, he coined this term masyarakat madani, which is actually quite distinct than civil society, though people tend to equate them as the same concept, civil and madani. Civil is very much Western concept, while madani is very Islamic concept. It has the vertical element there. In the word madani, even tamadun from that word. You know, in Arabic, they ada kongsi kata akar from madana, dayanun from din, mean religion. So masyarakat madani, the archetype is the Madinah itself during Prophet's time. Madinah means city actually. City, when you say Madinah, is the city that has civilization. So masyarakat madani means masyarakat yang bertamadun, not just civil society yang Azmi yang maknanya in
That is
Islamic
Western term.
Yeah, but it also it is part of our masyarakat madani also. It's some of the elements, So, for example, maybe in Malaysia we cannot allow, I mean, at least from Muslim perspective, LGBT punya society. You know, I was told by my Muslim friend who lives in Britain, before dia nak masuk bertanding Labour MP ataupun dia ada MP,
Conservative Tories?
No, I mean,
Lead them?
Councillors.
You mean?
Councillors.
Oh, okay.
he has to appeal to the LGBTQ community.
Lobby diorang untuk support
Their
dia.
lobby is very strong.
Betul.
If you don't support
Betul.
them, you will not vote for you.
Betul.
Wow.
Itu politik dekat uni pun macam tu juga.
Right, this group. So,
Politics in the UK lah.
Can we conclude in 1 minute for on that question?
Okay, yeah.
so I agree with Azmi's view that I think we in Malaysia we really talk about this important of civil society. And I would like to propose we bring back the discussion about masyarakat madani. within Malaysian context, because now we have seen a lot of racial issues, religious issues. I think it's important for leaders to debate this once again. That's my conclusion.
Okay. Answering questions daripada Helmi dengan Hazika Hamzani. Hazika Hamzani, she's studying philosophy at Leuven.
Belgium.
So
she wrote the book. Okay, I know. I was told by Alif. Helmi. Okay, let me answer Helmi dulu. How to contribute? First, ada dua. Let's think through these two categories. Fardu Ain, fardu kifayah. Fardu Ain is about to yourself first, wajib. Ada banyak kewajipan seorang pelajar. Antaranya ialah kalau seorang Muslim, dia kena faham akidah yang sahih. Worldview kena betul. Sebelum nak bincang intellectual roles ke, Laklau ke, Gramsci ke, Foucault, you must have your Muslim or Islamic worldview betul dulu. Then you can dive into philosophy yang postmodernism or whatsoever. Okay, itu fardu ain. That is your personal contribution to intellectualism in UK at least. Okay, secondly, fardu kifayah. And I'm glad to know that some of you already established this body called Independent School of Thinkers, but mostly concentrated in Manchester. As I told you before the other day, you must spread your wings to other major cities in UK where there are substantial numbers of Muslim students. Invite them to discussion regardless whether they are from Jama'ah ke, they are non-Muslim ke. There are many issues we can share together in building civilization, in building our nation. Like Project Anak Negara, these are very good activities, but as you said, some of the discussion might be shallow sometimes, or pseudo-intellectualism. So it is very important, before you can change the status, you yourself must create that vehicle to empower the future speakers for these events among the students of UK. And I think whatever you have done, as you showed me earlier, is good enough. It just matter to restructure it, to make it more consistent, to make it more rooted to our tradition. Meaning tradition here, Malaysian tradition. We don't have to be concerned so much with other people's problems. They are not our problems. Because at the end of the day, your duty is to serve your nation, right? So you must suit your intellectual discussion with the context of Malaysia. Satu. I think hope that so maybe kalau ada answer, maybe akan datang.
fardu ain, tapi fardu kifayah.
Fardu kifayah is that you have you serve your societal needs.
Okay.
Right?
That
So
is fardu
bila
kifayah.
ada satu, you have served already the needs of the society, Malaysian society in UK by having this sort of body. Like a forum for you to exchange views.
So maksudnya fardu kifayah tu kena join student organisation, Malaysian student organisation.
Kena.
Okay.
Kalau let's say UPSC katanya mungkin tak intellectual, then you infuse the intellectualism. Nama some people boleh.
Okay. Hazika Hamzani, that is more on your expertise and geopolitics.
On personal note, I am very supportive of war. Why? Because for the past 100 years, the West has never helped the third world countries, developing nations, in building infrastructures. Now China is, with their excess capacity, either in their capital or their production of steels or raw materials, they are here to help us connect to each other, with each other. Yes. So, though I support the general term or ideas of obor, I do have some worry that I think should be managed carefully by all governments participating in obor, especially with regard to the hidden, not hidden agenda. We all know that in our Chinese, which is to secure their geopolitical dominance in certain regions, but there must be caveat emptor, within this agreement, especially with regard to the terms and arrangements of the loan deal. Could we really afford some of the projects? I think this must be scrutinized seriously in Parliament. Yeah? We do not want to sign any agreements without realizing later on, we have to foot the bill this much. Where at the end of the day we cannot disturb or derail our national development program that originally being planned without obor in the picture. Because of course obor is very enticing to see China willing to invest ECRL, high-speed train, Bandar Malaysia, But we also must be aware of the fact that we must not allow China alone to be the dominant force in shaping this geopolitical current in our region. That's why I'm advocating, as usual, I said we must bring China's ally into the picture to balance China, not bringing America, which is quite antagonistic to China, into the fold, like being championed by many experts in international relations. They say, okay, now we have China, we have US. China has RCEP, US has TBBA. So at least we bring these two and they will collide in our region, which is good. For me, we must choose either one. If we choose China, bring their ally, that China think they could work together. For me, I propose we bring Russia into the picture. Because China and Russia and China, they are very good friends. I mean, they have geopolitical interests. Both are being contained by NATO. Both are being contained. This is what they call that, the McKinder punya plan semua tu. So that's why they have very strong relationship in geopolitical terms. If we want to go with US, we must also have our own balancing juga. We bring France into the fold, for example. Yes, at least we are not being dictated by one particular superpower. So this is a possibility. I think for the past few years under Tun Mahathir, Tun Razak, we have been very much cautious and neutral in our so-called non-alignment arrangement. I think we could afford that before, but nowadays I think it's quite hard when China is so big, so influential, and the US also is so influential. Well, some people say World War II is coming, but I think overall could be the I would say the savior. People like the LaRouche movement, and they also want US to participate in overall, so that as we all know, if both countries or superpowers have economic link, war unlikely to occur between the two because they have economic interest to take care of. But this is one of the, I would say, positive dimension of OBOR that I'm looking forward to. Just that there's a caveat and we must be aware with the agreement. There must be some fine print that we must look carefully. So I think government must be very transparent. Please debate. Please allow serious parliamentary debate on this matter. Don't just sign off things without realizing the future impact to the future generations. Yeah, we don't want to be burdened with hefty loans that we don't know the real amount of interest, because sometimes you say it's investment. Or is it really an investment or is it a loan? You must come clean with this. Yeah? If it is a loan, then we must prepare how to pay back with the interest. Yeah? So this must be made clear to the citizens of Malaysia. You cannot just sign off for the benefit of your present, but for going the future prosperity. Yeah, because we don't know later on whether could we sustain Petronas again. We are facing huge crisis later on if we are to be being too dependent on Petronas. We have been dependent with Petronas money for 50 years? Almost 50 years for our country's development. We must think, let's say one day Petronas is no longer our cash cow. How are we going to replace that source of revenue for the country? At the same time, paying these billions of loans for the OBOR project. So this is my critical apprehension of the OBOR for Malaysia. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, like 2 hours of discussion that we had just now. So I would like to thank you, Saudara Wan Ahmad Fayhsal, for being in this virtual discussion and with 5 other friends that we have here. Maybe 1 minute conclusion that we had throughout the 2 hours discussion that we had today.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I pray that I will be here with you guys.
Yeah, we hope your attendance here in London.
Yeah, hopefully with my wife also, inshallah. We are both very interested in intellectual discussion. She has her own views on many things as well, being a medical doctor herself. And myself even, I'm looking forward to learn more, many things about London, about UK, about cosmopolitanism. Yeah? something. I mean, for example, in London you have many professors, intellectuals who are world class in stature, and also you have British Library, you have good bookstores. I mean, there's nothing that could not help you to become enlightened in some way or another on many major issues that we are facing today. And I'm looking forward to engage with many Malaysian students in UK. Hopefully, inshallah, we could really harness the potential of Malaysian students abroad, because I think you are privileged. You guys are privileged group among all other Malaysians. And let's not waste this opportunity given by God to us by showing our gratitude in creating more positive energy via intellectual activities, welfare activities, and any other form of activities that could harness or capture our national spirit. So thank you very much for the organisers.
Yes.
Thank you for those who kat Malaysia ni kau berdua.
8-4-3.
Ada juga yang tengok ni akhir mesti semua ni.
Oh, dia tanya itu nak reply ke?
Pening apa?
Kenapa jurusan yang ditawarkan yang berjaya ambil di King's College berbeza dengan yang ditawarkan
Okey, boleh sekejap. Kenapa King? Kenapa I survey banyak Royal Holloway. Ada lah Royal Holloway. Ada City University of London, Global Economy. LSE tak ada geopolitics proper. Dia ada international political economy. These are all related to geopolitics at the end of the day. But I like King's because satu of the war studies department lah. Actually, we all know war studies department is one of the best in the world. The professors, the resources yang ada. Secondly, dekat King's ni dia punya department geography tu yang dia offer geopolitics punya program is very classical, proper. And I say proper tu, when you say geopolitics, you go back to maps, cartography, to geography, plus politics and economy. So something yang I would say
rare.
Yeah, I mean it's quite similar to French. I went to France last week. I've seen myself the institution when they talk about geopolitics is different from IR. Sana the way the category of discipline for geopolitics is different from IR. Geopolitics. So geopolitics kat France is very map based. So dia punya theories, dia punya discussion not much different from IR, tapi focus on cartography lah. This is what I'm looking for actually. So that's my answer.
Finish. Finish.